Good morning, technical advising professionals. Welcome to our quarterly webinar called United States of Smarter Lunchrooms, Stories from Illinois, Michigan, and Washington. So good afternoon to those folks who are out of state. Let's take a look at our conference call guidelines. Your phone will be muted during the call. Please type in any comments and questions into that chat box. It should be to your left-hand side. Questions, go ahead and leave those to the end of the presentation. We'll go ahead and address those. And then at the very end of the webinar, there will be a pop-up for you to answer some questions. Do let us know how we're doing in this webinar. Let us know if you have any ideas for the future as well. This webinar will be recorded and posted on the TAPS resource page on the box. And so if you want to revisit this or forward it on to someone else, that is available for you. And then lastly, resources for today's webinar will be emailed out to you and posted onto the TAPS resource page as usual. Okay, so today's agenda, we have Nick Drazel from Michigan Team Nutrition. He's going to be telling us about some Smarter Lunchroom stories. Second, we have Bianca Smith from Washington Smarter Lunchrooms, and she's coming out of the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction. And then Whitney Agee is from Illinois and also the University of Illinois Extension. And then we have our very own Shannon Young from Dairy Council of California, wrapping it up with the perspective of the California Smarter Lunchroom. Really excited to have all of these speakers. And so just so you know, the webinar objectives is to gain understanding of innovative Smarter Lunchroom initiatives from others and their resources and ideas, and then also to identify new strategies, tools, resources, and Smarter Lunchroom implementation. So do be looking out for those as they are discussing with you their perspective in their states. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Nick from Michigan.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, well, thanks California for inviting Michigan to share their story. So we have 7 minutes, so I'm going to be quick with this, and I have to leave at about 12:30 this morning, my time. If you have any questions, definitely email me or give me a call, and I can talk more about what I'm presenting. So I'm going to be sharing with you what we've done in Michigan through our Team Nutrition grants, give you a little history, some of our strategy, and give you some resources that you might be able to use or share with other directors. So all this stemmed from our work with our Team Nutrition grants that we were awarded in Michigan through the 2012 Team Nutrition grant, the 14 grant, and the 15 grant. The 2012 grant, I should tell you, I sit in the Department of Education, so this work comes out of that office, and I sit within the school meals office. But our first stab at Smarter Lunchroom was really to get the word out and do some regional trainings, and we said we'd train 50 schools to implement, give them $1,000. They were asked to do an action plan and submit a success story, and then we wanted to use some social media to encourage peer-to-peer networking. And the second iteration of the grant came in 2 years later in 2014 when we said, well, let's try a little different take on the Smarter Lunchrooms, and we try to train some Michigan State University Extension coaches to work with 50 schools. And what we'd do in this case is we'd use Cornell's online 2-hour training. Instead of that $1,000 that you see here, we would give them $350. We took away the action plan just because we felt that going through the scorecard and having them circle what they were going to do was sufficient. And they'd complete the scorecard pre and post, submit a success story, and we'd do some social media work again and try to provide as much technical assistance as they needed. Then our 2015 grant, which I don't have a slide up here, but it's basically going to follow the same format here, but we reduced the dollar figure a little bit more to $250, and we're having them do Smarter Lunchroom pre and post, but we're also having them submit production records. One of the big things we try to do is share their stories online and encourage Smarter Lunchrooms through our social media channels. So we have some YouTube videos you might be able to share with some directors out there that have a director speaking to other directors about what they're doing. And they have over 48,000 views right now. And if you just Google Team Nutrition, Michigan Team Nutrition YouTube, that'll bring up these videos for you. There's a lot of cool, interesting takes on what they did in the district level with Smarter Lunchrooms. And our most recent grant analysis of 21 schools who did the pre and post scorecard showed that the average change was about 11 points in their pre-scorecard versus post. And you can see that a lot of them have movement on the fruit area, the milk area, and creating school synergies. And then here were just some thoughts from the mini grantees themselves on what was helpful about the training and the work. They enjoyed the training and shared it with staff. They liked the placement of products. They thought it was less about the grant money and more about learning about setting up a lunchroom or service line. They thought a takeaway was making the signage simple yet clear would be helpful, and make sure we're involving students. And then just leave you with some more resources. So I believe you have links to these success stories, and I'm showing you a picture of what one looks like. It's a one-pager. It has pictures of what the school did within Smarter Lunchrooms, a little summary that I'm showing you here on the slide, and a contact number so that a director can contact this person individually if they want. We have 32 of those stories to share. Here's another example. And then here's where you can stay connected with us, our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. Send us your pictures. We'll post them up. That's it. Bianca.
Hi, my name is Bianca Smith, and I work for the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction in Washington State, and I'm a Team Nutrition Grant Coordinator. So just to give you a little overview of Smarter Lunchrooms in Washington, the Smarter Lunchrooms movement in Washington started in 2014 with our Team Nutrition Grant, and this was in partnership with the Washington State University Extension. So what we did was we partnered with 27 schools around our state, and we piloted Smarter Lunchrooms in each of these schools, as well as provided nutrition education. And we gathered feedback from the schools we worked with and used that to create a Smarter Lunchrooms toolkit. And right now, the last few months of our grant, we're working on providing Smarter Lunchrooms trainings around the state. So this is what the Smarter Lunchrooms network in Washington looks like. So I'm with OSPI, which is the one in the top left-hand corner. And we're partnering with FoodSense, which is the Washington State University Extension, who primarily provide most of the technical support around Smarter Lunchrooms in our state. And then OSPI, as well as our Washington School Nutrition Association, do most of the Smarter Lunchrooms training around the state. And hopefully in the future we're inspired by California's connection with the Dairy Council, and we're hoping to connect with our Dairy Council as well. So our best practices in Washington around training, we basically have 3 different types of trainings that we offer. We have intro sessions that we do at state conferences, and I strongly encourage anytime you have an opportunity to do a session at a conference, any conference related to folks that work in schools. It's a great outlet to get the information out there. We also travel to districts to provide 2-hour trainings, and we also have peer mentoring meetings in some counties where they talk about Smarter Lunchrooms in their schools. We also print the No Time to Train manual from Cornell University to distribute to schools, and we've had some very positive feedback from the schools we work with on receiving this material. So best practices around implementation. The main best practice we have here is we recommend to schools that we train to start small with smarter lunchrooms. We recommend 2 to 3 changes to the lunchroom per semester, or even more or less depending on what they're comfortable with. This was based off of our feedback from our pilot schools that said they were very go-getters and they really wanted to do a lot, and that kind of overwhelmed them in the end. So starting small is always better. We also created an adapted Smarter Lunchroom scorecard to help with making small steps, and we divided each of the scorecard items into 3 different levels. Level 1 being the easiest concepts to implement, and level 3 being the more challenging, maybe more time-consuming ones. So more on implementation. We found that schools that get the whole school environment involved with their initiatives around smarter lunchrooms, the more success they had. So we created some resources to help schools help the lunchroom connect some of these concepts they're doing in the lunchroom with things that teachers and administrators can do in their environments. So we created the Smarter Schools edition of our Smarter Lunchrooms toolkit, and some of the materials you can see here, including a scorecard for the classroom. So kind of taking environmental concepts that teachers can use and give them a scorecard that they can use. So here are some of the materials that we have created for our Smarter Lunchrooms toolkit, and we've printed a number of these resources and we distribute them whenever we provide a district level Smarter Lunchrooms training. So just to highlight some of the materials, we have a today's menu board, which is a laminated dry erase board that schools can use to write their daily components of their menus, which is one of the Smarter Lunchrooms concepts. And we also have salad bar labels, which are also dry erase, which can be either taped or Velcroed onto the salad bar to provide names to the different salad bar items that are offered each day. And all of these materials are on the OSPI Child Nutrition Smarter Lunchrooms website. And the best way I recommend to get to that is if you just go into a search engine and type in Washington Smarter Lunchrooms, it's the second web page that comes up. And in addition to these printed materials, all of our printed materials are posted online for free download, but in addition to those materials, we have some editable materials shown here. It's helpful not just within our state, but cross states to have materials that you can make your own. So we have a number of different resources that you're welcome to download and use for yourself. One of my favorites is the Meet the Staff poster, which you can use to feature lunchroom staff to get students to know the people who are serving their food a little bit better. So that's all for me. But if you have any questions, just let me know at the end.
Thank you, Bianca. We'll go ahead and transition to Whitney.
Hi, and I think I have control now, so I think I found out where it was, so I can switch the slides. All right, so my name is Whitney Agee, and I'm a SNAP-Ed educator at University of Illinois Extension. I'm also the project manager for a grant program we have called the ABCs of School Nutrition. And that's how we are using Smarter Lunchrooms as part of the services we provide to schools. The grant is in partnership with the Illinois State Board of Education. They're our grantors, and so in general we're going to provide technical assistance and free professional development to any schools in Illinois, and part of the professional development opportunities that we provide is the Smarter Lunchrooms movement. Lunchrooms. We have a website for the program where we are going to post our Smarter Lunchroom success stories and some more strategies. But on the ground, we have an implementation kit that we have for our educators. So we have about 25 to 30 educators and trainers throughout Illinois, and we started with just the scorecard, but we found that in order to help them with their technical assistance for schools, they needed more of a guidance plan. So the implementation kit has the scorecard, but it also has a list of different questions to ask school staff, including the principal or the school food service manager. It has school contact info to gather to help you kind of make better suggestions based on what kind of school you're in. It also has an action plan that we kind of customize based on what are the easiest suggestions you can make for schools based on the most common changes, the easiest to implement, and then kind of a timeline and action plan so that the trainers on the ground could keep themselves organized, and that has helped with some of their technical assistance and reporting to us as well. We also have a promotional flyer that we made in-house that has some of Illinois data, so that helps with promotion to schools and buy-in for schools. And we also use some of the Cornell Bent Institute materials they have, like the name cards that you see, which are probably the most popular. We also have educators that can make their own materials. Like you see in the bottom left, they made some clings for schools, so we share those. And then every educator has an iPad to help them in the field to take pictures and to take notes. So we have 5 stories I want to briefly go through to show what some of the trainers said that they learned in going in and what helped. And so this is Dongala School District. It's in southern Illinois. And the educator that worked with this school said that finding the motivated school champions will actually help you connect and implement the Smarter Lunchrooms strategies there. So if you can really find the school champion and work through them, this school took some of the days off that they had, and the 2 cooks that they have there painted the whole school, and they branded the school, which was part of the School Synergies part of the Smarter Lunchrooms movement. So you can see they have the nutrition education, and the school colors are red and black. So that was something that they said they worked through those motivated cooks and took it throughout the entire school. In Peoria Heights Grade School, the food service director was having an issue with the students wanting to go out to recess and not eating their food. So we incentivized the target behavior, which was eating the food. So now they have a Golden Spatula Award to incentivize tables, which are different classrooms, to actually eat their food. So if you eat the food and you have a clean table, you get the golden spatula, and then you can go out to recess earlier and play longer. So that was using a reward to incentivize was one of the things that we see works well in multiple schools. And then the reward is also another target behavior, such as physical activity. So in Riverton Elementary, which is in central Illinois, this was reiterating again what you heard of getting the whole school involved. So we had the administrative team came on board first, and we had strong support from them, and they helped us get the food service director, the teachers, and some other staff involved. So the art teacher got the 4th graders to make these signs with fruits and vegetables and put them up in the cafeteria, and then they incentivized eating vegetables, which was their target focus area they chose from our implementation guide. And so we focus on one focus area per semester and make those 2 to 3 changes. And so they had incentivized kids to eat their vegetables, and every week some of the winners get to go to a celebrity lunch. So this was a celebrity lunch with the principal, and you can see this is also working through a very strong school champion who's very motivated to help the students. We also got them to do some of the 4th graders made some fun names for the vegetables, so like tornado tomatoes, rockin' romaine lettuce, zany zucchini. Those were some of the names that the food service director put on the menu, and so every month they have different names from the 4th graders for vegetables. In South Elgin High School, this is in northern Illinois, we tied in the Smarter Lunchrooms No Time to Train training into some of the other PDO we were offering. So we offer the USDA Professional Standards training, which has a lot of different topics, but we also try to tie in Smarter Lunchrooms so it's part of the PDO, and it reinforces Smarter Lunchrooms with the other things that they're working on. And so they focused on the customer service, school synergies. They put up posters and signs in the cafeteria that reinforce what's on the menu. They put up the creative names and put the fruit and displayed it in the service line next to the items. And worked on packaging. As you can see in the bottom right of the picture, they worked on packaging and names, and also had the reimbursable meal, the Stormy Combo. They also got students involved with National School Lunch Week and gave them incentives to work on that. And so the last practice we wanted to share was to have taste tests. We can actually offer that through our extension educators to come and to use that part of the school synergies and student involvement. And that was a great way to motivate our partners to work with us, but also shows them Smarter Lunchrooms in action. And also using incentive giveaways to schools that were useful with Smarter Lunchrooms techniques.
Thank you, Whitney. That was great. There's a lot of success stories, and I think I already have a couple of ideas based upon what you shared. We'll go ahead and move on to Shannon Young to kind of summarize, wrap up our kind of ideas on Smarter Lunchroom of California.
Good morning, and I'm going to spend just a little bit of time going over and updating our TAPs on today's call. Where are we as a movement here in California? So I'm going to share our new vision and mission and the partners. I'm really going to focus in on what does technical advising professionals look like in California and what are some resources that are available. We have had some changes recently in our partnerships. The great news is that California Thursday Student Center for Eco-Literacy has joined, and this is a great opportunity for both the Smarter Lunchrooms Movement of California and Center for Eco-Literacy to highlight the great things that are happening around local procurement in the school cafeteria environment. And then also the California Department of Public Health, they have been a supporting partner, but now they have this year officially came on as part of our leadership partnership to develop out and support all of the activities that we do at the state levels around supporting our movement. This year we have a vision and a mission that has been approved by the overall state committee, and the vision is healthy communities, healthy schools, healthy students, with a mission to lead California's efforts to create healthy school policies and environments through nutrition education and SLM strategies, mobilizing partnerships statewide. And a big part of that partnership, of course, is the technical advising professionals. We do have 4 focus areas to support all the efforts that are happening here in California, and that includes the training, promotion, evaluation, as well as supporting our technical advising professionals. And through those 4 focus areas, in total, it supports the mission. To date, we have 175 technical advising professionals in California alone, and these are individuals that have gone through the process that has been outlined and approved through Cornell University, and the technical advising professionals have all received a certificate of completion, which you can see an example here. And this process was approved, and you will note everybody should have their certificate signed by Adam at Cornell University. We do have 16 certified through the Dairy Council, currently 60 through UC CalFresh Nutrition Education Program, and then there's 51 others that California Department of Public Health, local health departments, we have some California Food Policy Advocate and Kaiser, and there are some others as well. But what this is showing is the vision for the Smarter Lunchrooms Movement of California has always been that it's bigger than just school food service, but to bring in the stakeholders that are supporting school food service and having healthy school environments. And we couldn't do that without all of the technical advising professionals that are on the call today and in the field. A little bit about the toolkit that we're just launching. As I mentioned, we do have a process that everybody has gone through that's been approved, and that is that it's learning of the principles and practices through the module that Cornell produced, plus going to the workshop. Then we actually have everybody go through a technical advising professionals training program with a guided site visit, and then they become technical, which all of you have become technical advising professionals, and then continuing to offer you professional development opportunities such as today, so that you're abreast of all of the opportunities and resources available to support your efforts in your schools. So I'm going to share a little bit about the toolkit. This toolkit has been developed by technical advising professionals for technical advising professionals with support through our partners at the state level. And it's now available to all technical advising professionals in California through the website. And you should have received an email inviting you to sign on so you can log in and access your resources. And to do that, you will, to do that, Mary Ann, you're going to go ahead and show us the way to do that. You will create an account on the healthyeating.org website, and Allison Foote has emailed that information to you. If you have not received it, please let us know, and she will work with you to access the information. And then once you log in and create your information, you need to send that to Allison. So to do this, you will go to schools, and once you go to the schools, you'll go to the Smarter Lunchrooms Movement California, and then scroll down. So this is the launching page for Smarter Lunchrooms with lots of resources to help support you, as well as the process that we're advising to go through. And then here on the right, you can see the toolkit. So you'll go ahead and click that, and it will launch you into the toolkit webpage. And then you go to access the binder toolkit. And this will give you the opportunity to access all resources available. And it includes the documents, the introductory, the forward, which was, the forward is by Heidi at Cornell University. And then there's your quick start guide that includes all of the resources you need to take a school through the process, including the, you're going through each one. School food service meeting observation overview guide. It includes the scorecard assessment guide. The scorecard link is there for you. You do have the observation form, your photo checklist, your debrief after the observation. The action plan is there, as well as tips to successfully submit your data so that it goes to the online portal, so that we as a collaborative can continue to track our success holistically. Resources for school food services here, a lot of handouts that you can give to the school food service. And then your funding opportunities are available, and resources that will help you. What does a reimbursable meal look like? What are some webinars and online modules around Smarter Lunchrooms? And what are some of the success stories? And all of those are located in the guide for you to access. Some of the next steps are the collaborative is working on developing Train the Trainer modules, so that as you're out doing your direct school food service trainings, you have those resources already developed and available for you. That's been branded as part of the Smarter Lunchrooms movement. And then also we'll continue to provide other resources. And one thing that we're looking at is to develop either a Facebook page or some other social media way to share successes and ideas and stories throughout California, and that can be shared nationally as well. So that's where we are at in regards to resources to support our technical advising professionals to be the most successful in the work that you are doing, and we'll continue to work to support you in many ways, and always look forward to hearing from each of you and any ideas that you may have to share with us. with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mary Ann so she can give some other updates.
Great, thank you, Shannon. So we're just going to give you a couple more announcements. Again, this is Mary Ann Mills from the UC CalFresh State Office. Just a few reminders. You should already know this, but if you haven't heard, the reporting tool is open. So if you have any data from scorecard assessments that you've completed, please make sure to enter it into the online data collection tool. That can be found on the TAPS resource page, which is accessed through the uccalfresh.org website currently. It also will be available through the Dairy Council website once we have our TAPS registered for that. So please enter your data. We also want to announce that we will be having some upcoming technical advising professional trainings in the spring. The dates are to be determined, and we're looking at doing one in Northern California and one in Southern California, and potentially one in more Central California. The need for these trainings is higher than we anticipated, which is exciting. So keep your eyes peeled for any announcements on that. It should be coming out shortly. Lastly, we wanted to give a national update. Some of you might know or might have seen that there is a new Smarter Lunchrooms scorecard that is available on the Smarter Lunchrooms national webpage. This scorecard is very different from the current scorecard we're using. It's only about 60 points. So just to make sure it is clear to everyone, we are going to continue using the current 100-point scorecard and will not be transitioning over to the new scorecard until the 2017-2018 school year. So please make sure that you're continuing to use the scorecard that you've always used when going out and doing assessments and entering your data online. Also, Cornell has developed some new branding, which you can see in the picture on the slide. It's quite different than what it was, but they're also developing a toolkit to share out with states so that we can utilize this new branding. Again, we're not moving forward with that quite yet. We will keep you updated on the transition over, but I'm sure some of you have seen this, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone has the understanding that we are sticking with what we've been doing this whole year until the end of the school year, and we will make any announcements if that changes. So with that, it doesn't look like we have any questions at this point. Which is actually quite surprising. Does anybody have any questions for any of our presenters? Any questions about the TAPS toolkit? Any questions about some of the updates from California? Now's the time to answer them. We have about 10 minutes left. So please feel free to type your questions into the chat box, and we will make sure to answer those. All right, great question from Tracy Conkey. She said, will the new scorecard with the 60 points still align with the Healthier U.S. School Challenge? Great question. My understanding, and Shannon, you can chime in if I get this incorrectly, is that they are working with USDA and Healthier U.S. School Challenge to ensure that there is alignment.
That is correct. That's
okay.
What Heidi has shared with us.
Great, thank you. But at this point, it's the Healthier U.S. School Challenge is still aligned with the 100-point scorecard. Another question. Bianca, are you working on Smarter Lunchrooms efforts for like early child care or pre-K? And can you briefly describe those?
Yes, I am. Right now, I'm also working on a Team Nutrition grant for 2015. Which goes through the end of the following year. And we've been working on piloting, similar to our Smarter Lunchrooms grant, we've been piloting Smarter Meal Times, which is Smarter Lunchrooms for childcare in a variety of different childcare centers. And I'm actually partnering with Cornell Center right now on developing a Smarter Meal Times toolkit for the childcare setting. So that should be coming out this summer, so that's very exciting.
Great, thank you, Bianca. And I believe there's also a scorecard that's being developed that is specific to early child care. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a scorecard that's going to be released in April for the Smarter Meal Times environment, so you can keep your eyes out for that, and I'm sure there's going to be a big promotion of that once it's released.
great. That's really exciting. I think a lot of our TAPs are interested in doing more work with early childhood but haven't had the resources, so we're very excited about that. All right, we have another question. Will the websites with resources from the presenters be shared? Great question, and yes, definitely. The plan is to send out an email to everyone that participated today with links to everything that was shared today, and we will also post those to the TAPS resource page so you can find them there. And feel free to share those out with anyone that you think would benefit from them, because there's a lot of great information that other states are putting out, and so any way that we can tap into that would be really helpful. We have another question. Can you say more about school champions? Do most schools have them? And that was directed towards me, and I'm wondering, Teresa, can you expand on that? Are you talking about the school champions that Nick from Michigan mentioned? You can type your response in the chat box. Yes. You know, I honestly don't know a whole lot about what Nick is doing around school champions. My understanding is that they're quite similar to our technical advising professionals. It's a similar model, but I will reach out to him and gather more information and share that out with everyone. Great question. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, if you have any, please feel free to contact Candace or myself. We will also be sharing out all of the resources as I mentioned today. So thank you so much for participating in our webinar. Our next quarterly TAPS webinar will be in April of 2017. We will be sending out save the dates and more details as that gets closer, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. Thank you so much to our presenters, Nick, Whitney, and Bianca, and Shannon. We really appreciate you taking the time to share your knowledge and your expertise with us. I think we will all benefit from what you shared today. So have a great day, everyone, and we will talk to you all in April. Thank you.